Hey, it's freaking FAB. Huh? It's freaking FAB. What? It's freaking FAB. It's freaking FAB, breaking balls, takes me up the walls, talking all that shit that make you wanna get involved. Ain't no ball. Rick and FAB, no ball. Look, when you wanna talk ball, tell me who you call. I know it's Rick and FAB, got it all, they no ball. Look, Rick and FAB, no ball. Yeah.
Everybody, welcome back to the Rick and FAB No Ball Pod. We're firing up this pod today. We're going to break down Rick's Wine Slam here live on the pod.
So we're getting right into it.
Right into it.
How many minutes post Wine Slam are you right now, Rick?
This was like 5 minutes ago. We're going to see this Wine Slam hit me live on the air. It's already hitting me.
Great pop.
That's a good pop.
Very crisp pop.
Big sweet whites, and I did not want to fuck around with a $1 wine before I have to go record a podcast.
So we got a red here?
It's a blueberry Moscato, actually.
Okay. I was going to say, if it was red, that would be an absolute psycho move.
Oh,
I guess I got to record a podcast, but fuck, here we go.
Yeah, you got to record a podcast.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, left you guys waiting for about a half hour.
Brewed, not brewed. What do you say for wine? Created, I don't know. Grapified right here in Bloomington, Indiana, the heartbeat of America.
It's grapified.
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 Here before I swim.
Gotta have the hair on point. That's a huge point for me. My hair's always got to be looking good.
I'm not stalling, I promise. This is not really a good job. All right, I'm just gonna go for it.
Just go for it. Yeah, you got it.
And we're off.
This hurts to watch.
The tornado.
Yeah.
It's like that. The Chinese guy. What's his name?
That's who I learned it from. It didn't really work this time around. That's kind of what killed me.
That helps it go down easier?
Yeah.
I thought it just looked cool.
Nice tip.
No, it goes down faster.
A straw. You can throw a straw in there. Leave the short end sticking out.
Yeah.
Makes air go. It just pours.
I lost my fastball, you can say it.
Oh.
Whenever I have to go for the second chug, that's just embarrassing.
Oh, no.
Oh no.
She's
There
gone.
we go.
Yeah, I mean, anybody can chug a bottle of wine in 2 chugs.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. That was impressive. I'll give it, just because I've seen you do better, I'll give that a 7.5 out of 10.
That's the thing. I need people like you holding me accountable. If you can't count on your podcast co-host to hold you accountable for things like chugging wine, who can you count on?
Yeah, 75 out of 100.
Oh, yeah. Definitely not my best work. Like
Yeah,
I said,
it's a passing grade.
Too much time off. Looking forward to the off season, just a chance to get in the lab and just kind of hone my craft, get in the film room, really see what went wrong and, the steps we can take to improve.
Definitely. That's all you can do at this point.
But all right, let's get into it. It's, June 17th now, about 20 minutes after midnight. The Golden State Warriors are your NBA champions. They're back, folks. The Empire struck back tonight. They're back on top of the mountain. For me as a neutral fan, that's I probably watch more Warriors basketball than any other team since 2015, even the Bulls. Just so cool to see Steph come back and, cement his legacy, cement his place in the NBA pantheon. So cool to see Klay work his way back after 2 years. So cool to see Wiggins, kind of shake those bust allegations and really find his role and get himself a ring. Draymond did his thing tonight, went out swinging. Really cool to see. I know the Warriors have been kind of the bad guy of basketball for a minute, but for me, just as a neutral fan, really cool to see this organization pull it off. They've been playing ball the right way. They know ball top to bottom in that organization. But Fab, your Celtics came up short. Let's hear your thoughts on tonight, the season, anything you got. How are we feeling tonight?
I mean, I think the Warriors deserve the praise right now. They're just I mean, a lot of the commentary, a lot of people thought, including me, the Celtics were the better team up until going into tonight, and I think that was just wasn't the case.
Yeah.
Just the way the players complement each other. I mean, their bench, it's such a good team overall. Going from what they didn't make the playoffs they were the worst team in the league 2 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Losing
Steph got hurt and Klay got hurt. It was a Draymond one-man show out there, and brother, it was not going well. Draymond, not a one-man show kind of guy.
Not at all.
Yeah. Stuck it through those 2 years, kept the core together, rehabbed, got healthy, made the right moves, made the right draft picks. Like I was saying, I mean, just on an organizational level, top to bottom, the Warriors have done it the right way, and they made it back tonight. Really cool to see.
Yeah, it's hard to be like, I mean, obviously I'm pissed, but like it's hard to be like mad, because it's just it's not like it just doesn't feel like we had much of a chance. So looking back at it, it doesn't hurt as bad, but I mean, it fucking sucks right now.
Yeah. So for me, the main points of tonight, sorry to interrupt, but just kind of 2 points we've been touching on all series. Really, we're front and center tonight. One, that experience, that 140 games to 0 games that we've been talking about all series, that we talked about pre-series, really reared its head tonight. The Celtics just looked out of gas. They didn't have that last gear they could push into with their backs against the wall that the Warriors have been hitting so often. So just that experience and just that general energy level of making a deep playoff run. And two, I mean, the Celtics just haven't, kind of the same thing as the first one, but the Celtics just haven't been there before. They had to have this finals experience, I think, where Tatum gets his ass kicked, Brown gets his ass kicked. They got to learn how to become a winner. Like we said, you don't become a dynasty overnight. You got to take your licks. You got to earn your way there. The future is very bright for the Celtics. Don't let this Tatum stinker of a series get you down. Don't let anything fool you. I firmly believe this Celtics team is going to be back. I think they have 6 games of finals experience under their belt now. I think you get Rob healthy. I think you get Tatum in whatever lab he needs to get into to fix his shit. I mean, yeah, it sucks. Like, if you're a Celtics fan, you just lost the NBA Finals. You're not hanging your head high over anything. But for me as a neutral fan, I would say hold your heads high, because I do think this team is going to be back.
Yeah, it's just like the way this game went, it was just so fucking Celtics. Like,
oh my god,
hot start,
turnovers, start. Just
dude, I was feeling so good. We come out so hot. We're up 12-2 early, like feeling great. I thought we were gonna blow them out of the gym tonight. Even going into the game, deep down, that's what I thought was gonna happen. That's why I took Celtics first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. We'll talk about that later. And just how quickly the game flipped back. And it was just like from being up 10 early in the first quarter to the game being over like that. Even though, I mean, we came back, we kind of made it interesting a little bit, which is what the Celtics do. They'll just tickle your balls. But like, if you spot a team like the Warriors that many points, like, you're just not going to win.
Yeah, recurring theme all series. They're not giving you any chances at all to put the nail in the coffin. If you have that chance, you got to do it. And letting them go on a 52-25 run to close out the half, that's hot take, but I'm going to say it. That's not winning basketball. That's not how you put the nail in the coffin.
It's just, I'm so angry with Jason Tatum. I'm really not. Yeah, this fucking meme. If you're listening, you got to check out the YouTube.
Tatum, I know you're a listener to this podcast. Let's go ahead and hang up the Kobe's. Let's get a nice pair of Reeboks. I don't want to see you mention Mamba mentality ever again. Tatum, let's stop trying to be Kobe Bryant, and let's maybe just try to be Jason Tatum, because this whole trying to be Kobe thing is obviously not working out. It obviously just got your ass handed to you in the finals. Let's get in the lab and figure something else out, Jason, because that was not Mamba mentality this evening.
Yeah, those memes summed it up so well. If you're listening, you'll have to check out the YouTube. But dude, yeah, I mean, it's just so embarrassing, man. Like, I've been riding for this guy, and just to not show up, and not even just to not show up, but to have such an embarrassing effort in an elimination game like that. I mean, 13 points and just some of the turnovers and like the travel in the end when it was getting close and we needed a basket. It's like, dude, you just can't be having that. It's like, it just doesn't make sense. But I mean,
when the Celtics needed a basket tonight, it wasn't Tatum, it wasn't Brown, it was 37-year-old Al Horford that they went to, which major credit to Big Al, and Rob we can talk about, but Big Al went down swinging tonight, desperately wanted that ring, was hitting the big shots, probably him, Brown to an extent, and Rob Williams. Tip of the cap to them. They were the only ones that showed up tonight, played their hearts out. Just didn't have enough gas in the tank, not enough production on offense, not enough ball movement, too many turnovers. Just every basket after that initial first quarter seemed like an uphill battle. Nothing they were doing earlier in the series to get buckets was working. Warriors defense was storming as always. Just never really felt like they settled or found a flow or really got into the game at all.
I loved what I saw from Jalen tonight. I mean, he had some bad turnovers, but he was attacking. He had 31 or 34 points. I mean, he had enough dog in him for him and almost Tatum too, because Tatum had none, just none, negative. I saw somebody replied to a tweet. He's got that mouse in him, and that was Tatum. I forget who it was. I wish I could give him credit, but that was Tatum tonight. He had a little mouse in him. Yeah, I couldn't tell if it was him or Deuce out there most of the time. I don't want to dive too much into like just my Celtics anger, but overall, this run.
Yeah, let's get all the Celtics talk out of the way, and then we can kind of give the Warriors their flowers a little bit.
Okay.
So continue with your point.
Oh yeah, I mean overall this run was a ton of fun. I was thinking about it, probably by far the most fun run I've ever had that ends in a championship loss. I mean, we've had some devastating losses to teams.
When you're a Boston sports fan, you have to clarify which championship run, whether it's a win or a loss. There's a whole catalog you have to sort through. Well,
people forget about like the Giants lot, like the Patriots losing to the Giants. Like we've had some bad losses. The Bruins losing to the Blues.
I'll pray for you guys for real.
But this is a loss you can look back at, and it's not like I don't think they really, other than Jason Tatum, we didn't really leave anything out there. Like the Warriors are just so fucking good, and like this is a team that is going to be talked about forever for the rest of basketball. To
that point though, one quick thing while we're talking Boston fans and Boston sports successes. I saw a not insignificant amount of Boston sports fans going into the half saying, this team needs to be booed. This team needs to be booed off the floor. That had me pissed off. That had me really riled up. I think it kind of just shows the entitlement and privilege of Boston sports fans that this team took you to Game 6 of the NBA Finals, and you're advocating to boo them off the floor. I understand you're disappointed with the effort, but this squad, everyone had them written off in January. They came back with the number one offense and defense. They swept the Brooklyn Nets, which nobody thought was going to be possible. Took out the defending champs in a dogfight. Got through the Heat. The fact that people were saying this team should be booed when they very clearly were just less experienced and ran out of gas did not sit right with me at all.
Yeah, I mean, I think I beef. No, not definitely. I beef with more Boston fans than anyone else because everything you just said, they're the worst. We are the worst. I hate that I have to say we. I mean, everything you said was true. We're just so what's the word? What's the word you use? I can't
entitled, privileged.
Entitled, privileged. Yeah, you name it. Yeah, I mean, any of those Twitter avatars you see with the little the Titletown account with the little logo with all the four every single one of those accounts I've blocked. They're the most insufferable people ever.
Our boy, the UMass Reindeer, I tweeted about it. I was like, if you're advocating for booing, like, you're the worst. And the Reindeer response is just like, when you're in Boston, it's just that expectation of success, which, like, Reindeer's my guy, love him. I had to do a little eye roll at that one. Like, come on, Boston. Like,
and especially because, like, if you like How much were we down at halftime? Let's see. What's 27 plus 27? Let's do some ball
54,
math here.
54.
Okay, 22 plus 17.
Advanced analytics 39.
Okay, so 54. We're down 50. Dude, we were down 15 going into the fourth quarter of game 1, and we won that game. And people wanted.
How is that math equation? How you figured out what the halftime score was?
Because I pulled up the box score and I just added the Warriors the first 2 quarter score, and then the Celtics. Or I didn't add. You
added. We've said it. The college graduate over here. Yeah. Listen, we know ball. We don't know stats.
Right.
We examine the stats among a myriad of other factors, such as the eye test, the got that dog at 'em test, et cetera, et cetera. We're not stat knowers. We're ball knowers. But continue.
Yeah. I mean, thinking that we should come out of halftime and boo a team that needs like a home crowd behind them to like mount this comeback and win is pretty insane. Because if I'm a Celtics player and I'm coming into the third quarter and my home crowd's booing me in the NBA Finals in Game 6 in a game that we need to win, you're not really going to have much pride like for your city. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
That I feel like if we had came out and booed, that would have just made it worse. I mean, we had a chance to come back there.
For those of you that are listening at home, not on the YouTube, MereKat's producer Mere's got a little shit-eating grin and a banner at the bottom that says breaking 27 plus 27 equals 54. First reported by White Boy Rick. You're welcome, America. That's the numbers deep dives that the other basketball podcasts aren't willing to do for you.
Yeah, I mean, if you only listen to like the podcast version, I would highly recommend checking out the YouTube, not only to see all of our handsome faces, but this, like the way that MereKat has produced this show is so impressive.
Unbelievable. Like highly professional quality.
I watched like a few other like YouTube like video podcasts like this, and this, like none of them are like this good, and I'm being 100% serious. So I would definitely recommend checking that out. But no, I think what I was going to say earlier is that one of the things that hurts the most, like I'm happy we got to the finals, absolutely blew my expectations for the season out of the water. It's just looked like the teams...
imagine you go back to January when RJ Barrett banks in that 3 at the buzzer to beat the Celtics. They're going down. Ime is calling out guys in the locker room saying you don't have enough leadership. Imagine I go back to that moment in the time machine and I tell you, hey, you're going to make it to Game 6 of the NBA Finals. Like, I'm not going to tell you the outcome, but I just say, hey, you're going to Game 6 of the NBA Finals. Every single Celtics fan signs that fucking dotted line immediately. Like, this season is not a failure by any stretch of the imagination. You're going to be back. You got your experience. Tatum knows what it takes to get himself to that next level now. Now are they going to put it together, and are they going to do what it takes?
Yeah, and go back even further in another Knicks game, the very first game of the season at Knicks. Everybody remembers the bing bong after the Knicks beat us in overtime. The Knicks fucking celebrated that like they won the championship. I mean, I remember even after that game, Celtics fans, including myself, were like, "Oh God, like here we go again. This season's going to be a disaster," which it was for the first half, but just the ride that we've been on. But to the playoffs, I mean, like beating the Bucks, who knocked us out after we beat the Nets, who knocked us out. And then the Heat, like going on the revenge tour and then just not being able to finish it off was just disappointing. And then just like thinking ahead at the road to get back here is just, I don't even want to think about it. Like I think about like playing the Bucks again in another series makes me want to kill myself.
Oh yeah. I do think they're going to get back there, but it's the NBA. Nothing is guaranteed. Yeah. It is so hard to win the finals.
So hard.
The hardest championship to get to and win. But
we'll see. Yeah, it's been a fun ride.
If I'm a Celtics fan, my 2 main concerns right now are 1, like Tatum getting whatever he needs to done and figuring that out, and 2, just that Bob Williams gets healthy, doesn't have any permanent damage, because I mean, what a series from him on one leg was like the heartbeat of the Celtics. Not enough good things to say about the performance from Big Bob Williams this whole playoffs, this whole season, this whole series. Bob Williams, that's a cornerstone for the future for the Celtics.
100%. Yep.
You got any other Celtics points to make, or should we jerk off the Warriors a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk like off-season and next season stuff on a future episode. I got my lube over here if we want to really just get real deep in here with the Warriors.
We're gonna be doing like a whole kind of end of the year season review. We're gonna be giving out the first annual Rick and Fab No Ballies. That's our award show.
Oh, I love it.
The yearly I just came up with that nickname on the fly, Fab. The Ballies. The Ballies.
The Ballies.
I shit you not. That was just off the dome. It's gonna be the annual Got That Dog in 'Em award. We're gonna kind of just go over the season, off season, everything, full, sweeping end of year review.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with that was we didn't want to plan it for tonight because then that would mean Fab would have to prep for the very real possibility of his team losing tonight, which they obviously did, but we didn't want Fab to have to think about that. This is a very stressful day for Fab.
I appreciate
it.
We're
just running back the game. We got a jam-packed episode. We're going to talk about the new Sandman movie on Netflix. We're going to, a whole bunch of stuff to talk to you about. Whole season reviews coming at a later point.
Mm-hmm.
But let's talk Steph Curry and the Warriors because, wow. I mean, just as a ball knower, there's not enough good things to say about how they got back to the top of this hill, how Steph Curry played this series, exercised every demon that he had, got every single monkey off his back, every single critic, every single hater. Like, what else can you say about Steph now? There's now a concrete defining series where you point to, he was the guy. He got that finals MVP. For me, I was looking at my top 5, top 10 lists. I don't think I have him top 5 yet. I'm not ready to put him above. The top 3 undebatable: MJ, LeBron, Kareem, whatever order you want to have them in.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's a gap. Then I think you do I was going to say Barry and Lurd.
Barry and Lurd?
Barry Lurd. I've been watching Barry on HBO. Maybe that's it. And then I got Bird and Magic. So that's my top 5. And then I think I'm putting Steph in kind of that 7-8 range with Wilt, Shaq, Duncan, that kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Steph Curry,
you're...
legacy series, career defining series. He's got the highlight. He's got the stats. He's got the back-breaking shots. He's got the iconic moments, the rake me tonight, the rocking on the Celtics to sleep. He took it personal. It showed. He wanted that trophy. He wanted that ring. He wanted to cement his legacy. And so cool to see Steph Curry be Steph Curry these past 6 games.
Yeah, it really is, dude. And be rooting for the team that he's playing against. It's like the first 2 to 3 threes he hits. Like, it's just pure anger. Like I felt like the Arthur fist clench every time. And then every shot he hits after that, it's just like you just can't help but just start laughing because it's just insane. Like, every time he throws the ball up, it's everybody who is watching knows that it's probably going in. And it doesn't even matter if you're not a basketball fan. Like, Steph Curry is just so insane to watch, and not even just his shooting. Like, the way that he gets to the basket, his ability to finish at the basket is something that I think nobody really talks about. And he is just so good at finishing around the rim, especially finishing around guys like Rob Williams. It's crazy what he is able to do with the basketball in his hand.
Yeah, his finishing's been underrated his entire career. He's always been so efficient at the rim, so great at finishing, but just a preposterous stat line for these finals. I've got it pulled up on Basketball Reference right now. 30.6 points per game, 5.8 rebounds, 4.6 assists, so 35 and 5. I mean, not quite a LeBron stat line, but nothing to sniff your nose at all. That's elite play. That's elevating yourself and your teammates on the biggest stage in basketball. Everything we said, getting the monkey off your back.
And the worst part about this being...
Wait, I'm looking now. What? This isn't even updated for Game 6. It says he's only played 5 games, so I'm looking at dated information. But either way,
so his all of his averages will go up. He almost had a triple double, 34, 7 and 7, 2 steals, 1 block, only 2 turnovers. It's fucking insane, man.
60% true shooting percentage, 42% from 3, both of which are going up after tonight. Whatever they get to, insane.
You said, this is so many career defining moments, like Steph Curry legacy series, and I'm just gonna these highlights this series highlights are going to be getting played for the rest of my life, and it's just going to remind me of this every time.
That was like whenever you wanted to debate Steph Curry's greatness these past few years, there's always a very legitimate asterisk you could throw on it. Like that 15 ring, it was LeBron with no love or Kyrie. Then he had the blown 3-1 lead, which obviously was very damaging to his legacy. Then he had the KD years where, I mean, rightfully so, all of his accomplishments were diminished that he was playing next to the next best player in basketball. And yeah, now he's got his own team, his own legacy, his own story. He had to be the number one guy. He had to be that dog. And yeah, I mean, Steph's got that dog in him. There's no debate about it now. There's no debate about where his legacy stands among. I've been saying legacy probably 20 times on this podcast, but like that's how huge this game was to Steph. Like this is a series that you hang your entire career on. And yeah, this is the pinnacle of what the Warriors have been building these last 7 years.
No, definitely. And I think, I mean, I'd have to look back, but I would guess that this was the best defense he's seen. In the finals.
Let's not understate it. This Celtics defense is one of the best we've seen in the past 10 years. Like advanced analytics, eye test. They didn't come home with this title, but scheme was nasty, lineup was nasty, matched up very well with these Warriors, had a very good scheme for Steph Curry, and he just had an answer every single time. It was a back-breaking three every single time. It was making plays for his teammates, distributing it. I think we should just cut it and move on because I could talk about what Steph did these past 6 games for the entire podcast.
Yeah, just one last thing because we're just going to keep saying the same shit over and over because we're just that good.
And also because we've had too much podcast juice, like we could just ramble. We could ramble all night. As we say, not only do we know ball, we love ball. We could talk about this stuff for hours. Yeah, we could talk about ball till the fucking cows come home. Just like the lines say it all. I mean, like the Golden State Warriors team total line being set at like 103.5 or whatever it was, like that's preposterous. The fact that they pretty much blew our doors off and scored 103 points is preposterous. Like I should add, I had over 103.5. They ended with 103. Absolutely heartbreaking. Ended up being the last leg of a parlay for me, which there's nothing worse than when those overs come down to the last second and you just watch the winning team dribble it out. Just brutal. Like not even getting a chance. Those last 20 seconds, like they're winning the NBA finals. And like, I had no sense of the moment because I'm just screaming, fucking score, foul him, foul him, foul him.
That is an absolute backbreaker.
Yeah, that was tough. It was like a plus 1,800 parlay I lost on that half point, but it's fine. We're fine.
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. All right.
One last point I wanted to make, just Andrew Wiggins, tip of the cap.
We didn't talk Andrew Wiggins at all.
Gotten more crap in his career than a lot of guys, probably anybody in the NBA. Shook the bust allegations, defeated the bum allegation, defeated the lazy allegations. A trade that was harped on at the time. This guy had to have a first-round pick attached to him just to dump his salary. And that trade was still panned at the time for the Warriors, but got to the Warriors system, bought in 100%, was just their second best player this whole playoff run, a crucial player to the run, crashing the glass, guarding the other team's best player.
Jason Tatum was in prison.
Yes. Yeah.
In prison.
And he's been doing like KD had his worst playoff series in some time. Wiggins guarding the other team's best player, active on the boards, contributing on offense, running the floor, finishing at the rim. Just everything you want out of somebody to contribute to winning basketball. That's not just like slinging threes and doing all the fancy flashy stuff. Like just a true gritty. Yeah, gritty player.
He hit timely shots all series for them. He was so big. But yeah, we can move on. What do we got next here?
So like we said, more in depth. More in depth season breakdown coming next episode probably. Some administrative stuff. I got an ad read.
Let's go.
First off, I got a few people to shout out here. So I don't know if you guys know this, but Rick and Fab No Ball has gone international.
Oh shit!
MereKat, do we have any way to run the numbers on this? Because if I don't know if we can check like the international streaming numbers. That would bode very well for us because I know for a fact we got international listeners.
Oh, they're in the thousands.
Any way to check that metric?
Oh, we have ways to check it. I'm
we'll
estimating they're in the thousands. We're not going to follow any Buzzsprout estimates. They can suck us. 0 downloads. Sorry, buds. We crushed that.
Yep.
Okay, so first off, my girlfriend, as you all know, is in Paris. Hates to be on that simp boy stuff, but she listened to episode 1 today, so I told her I'd give her a shout out.
Shout out, Rick's girl.
Her main thoughts on episode 1 was that she wishes we had actually talked about the Johnny Depp trial instead of just doing that joke that we did.
Okay.
She was very upset. She was very upset that we did not actually break down the Johnny Depp trial. So, love you, babe. Get home safe. And then my boys Greg and John. Greg's in Amsterdam right now, red light district, having a blast. And then my boy John, former roommate, just 2 guys that know ball. Both in Europe right now. I just graduated like 2 weeks ago, so a lot of my friends are making international trips.
Okay.
Just had to shout them out, listening overseas. Love you guys.
Wait, what is it? Greg and John. Greg and John. I was going to say Greg and Bob.
No.
I
actually do have another roommate named Bob, but yeah.
Shout out Bob.
Unrelated. But no, he's all right.
The numbers are in. The numbers are in. 3% of our total downloads have come from Europe.
Wait, actually? That's legit?
Yeah, I'm not even kidding. That's
no way.
Let's go.
Okay, yeah. Shout out to Greg, John, and my girlfriend who are responsible for all of those. Love you guys.
We love you. We appreciate you. That's huge.
And then we have our ad read. Should I get into the ad read now, or do we want to do it later?
They want it early in the episode. They sent the email over with the copy saying,
yeah, they're up our ass.
Okay, so today's episode of Rick and Fab No Ball are sponsored by. Today's episode of Rick and Fab No Ball is sponsored. Got to be grammatically correct. You guys know me.
Yep.
Sponsored by the good people over at the Catholic Church. Yeah, that's right. Okay. The Catholic Church. There's a culture war going on. There's no denying it. They're trying to send our kids to drag shows. They're trying to send our kids to Hooters on both sides of the aisle. And if you know one thing, the only safe place for your children is at the Catholic Church. Bring them in, let them talk to a priest, preferably one-on-one. And, that's just with this culture war going on. They're trying to groom our children. If you want to protect your kids from sex crimes, make sure they're getting into the Catholic Church and, finding God, finding Jesus.
Yeah, knowing God is, I would argue, more important than knowing ball. We know God, and we also know ball, so if you can know both, but knowing God is most important. So thank you to the Catholic Church for that.
Yeah. I'm a Catholic school product myself. I don't know if you guys know this. Kindergarten through senior year, I was a Catholic school boy.
Okay. It makes sense.
Did my weekly penis inspections with Father John all week. So yeah, shout out to the Catholic Church. Thank you for sponsoring. Only way to keep your children safe from this culture war going out there. So thank you. Use promo code Rick and Fab. Once again, that's RICKANDFAB for 25% off your first confession. So go.
You can't beat that. You cannot beat that.
Go get those sins wiped away.
Can't recommend it enough.
We're working
care about funding this podcast. Fill up those donation baskets this weekend. That goes directly in our pockets.
We're working on a follow-up sponsorship with some sort of therapy program for after that one-on-one confession with a priest in a dark, dimly lit booth. But yeah, shout out to the church.
Shout out to the church. We wouldn't be here without the church.
Love Catholicism. What's the next segment, Mir?
We got some NBA trade talk.
Yeah, we're getting more into some ball. Fab texted in the group chat. When's the last time we've had this much trade? I think we've only had one big trade so far actually happen, but trade rumors like swirling, it's already getting crazy.
So as we all know, the NBA offseason, by far the best offseason in sports. The content, the drama, the storylines, it is damn near better than the NBA in season.
No doubt.
And apparently it's been so damn electric that they decided to stop waiting for the offseason. And we're just doing our trades now. And we're just, Christian Wood, go ahead. Season's not over. See you later.
What?
Peace.
I don't understand. So like the trade deadline happens, and then at what point does the trade deadline end? Like when can you start trading?
The way I understand it is these trades that happen during the finals are kind of just more in principle, like not officially being submitted to the league office.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I don't know the exact date, but I mean, yeah, it's the NBA. Tampering's rampant around the league.
Definitely, yeah.
Deadlines don't mean shit. These guys are just going to be agreeing to stuff in principle for the next 3 months, and I'm excited. Already rumors flying off the boards, like MereKat said. I'm excited to see how it all shakes out. Excited to see what my Bulls do.
Yeah. So the first domino to fall here is we had Christian Wood, who, like the banner here says, is apparently free. I'm not sure what team wouldn't want Christian Wood for the price that he went for. I'm pulling it up right now. What was the exact trade?
It was 3 lower level guys, and then the 26th pick in the draft. Marquise Chris was one of them. I don't think they sent Hardaway.
No, it wasn't
Marquise
Hardaway.
Chris, Trey Burke,
Sterling Brown, Trey Burke, Marquise Chris, and the 26th pick.
So the number 26 pick, and then just a bunch of salary filler.
Right.
So reading what Rockets fans were saying about Christian Wood and reading what the actual trade they got for him was, which is a pitiful return in my eyes. Christian Wood stock appears to be at an all-time low, and I am buying that dip.
Buy.
I love this trade for the Mavericks. I love this trade for Christian Wood. I think the Rockets got absolutely fleeced like a sheep here. The Mavericks are looking like a nasty team next year. They're coming off a conference finals bid, making what I view to be a significant upgrade here if they can get Wood to really buy into their system and buy into being Luka's running mate. Yeah, I'm excited for this if I'm a Mavs fan.
Yeah, and it's exactly like... Oh, go ahead, man.
Go ahead, Phil. I was just going to say he's a 2010 guy that shoots 39% from 3 and block shots. Like, who doesn't want him being in the Rockets? I mean, obviously he wasn't happy there. Who would be happy?
Yeah.
At least now he goes to a playoff team. I think he's going to buy into being Luka's number 2 guy because there's still a lot of shots to be had in Dallas that should be going to other people. And, you know, I hate to see my boy Maxey kind of take a backseat role now. I thought he was going to break out, but we got Christian Wood coming in. I think it's a great move.
Yeah.
I love Kleba.
MereKat, to add to your point about how he was kind of like disengaged with the Rockets. Sorry. So Rockets fans, from what I saw, were all celebrating this trade. They wanted him out of there, which...
Because they loved him.
Usually like not a good sign, but the thing is, Wood signed that contract, like you said, Mir, like he was expecting to contend with Harden and Russell Westbrook when he signed on to the Rockets, and he ends up getting caught in a full-fledged rebuild. He's a talented player, he's a good player, but he's not a number 1 option. He's not a guy that's good enough to carry a team as bad as the Rockets. If you signed up to contend and you end up on the worst team in the league, who wouldn't check out a little bit? So I think getting next to one of the league's best premier guards, players overall, Luka, setting screens for him, popping off those screens, running to the rim. Yeah, I think this is going to do wonders for him. I think he's going to be back to being 2010. I'm all in on Christian Wood next year.
Yeah, I think he's a guy that's, because I know he's been all around. I mean, he's been in the league since 2015. He started out with the Pelicans and the Bucks, then the Hornets, then the Sixers. Then
he was out of the league for a year. 17, 18.
He was out of the league for a year. Yeah, he's had some alleged like attitude problems and shit. But I mean, you get to a team like he's played for some bad teams. You get to a team like the Mavericks with a legit talent. And Luka, like they're in a position to win. I think this is a good spot for him, and this is exactly what they really needed. They didn't have. I mean, he's undersized. He's 6'10", but he's athletic. That's kind of an inside presence for him. He can knock down shots. He's given him. He put up 18 and 10 last year. Like this is such a good addition for the Mavs. I like it for them a lot, and for the Rockets,
he's like the prototype. He's the prototypical like small ball 5.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. He's gonna fit right in there, and I mean, like you said, they got guys like Kleber who can just fucking stroke it. I mean, they have
pause.
Yeah, big pause. Kleber can stroke it. Pause. No, I like this Mavs roster a lot, and I like what they're doing. And as for the Rockets, I don't know if anybody really knows.
That's the best you could do. That's the best you could get for him.
Yeah,
like
that organization is so terribly run.
You're pulling the trigger in the NBA Finals. Like clearly, you weren't fielding offers. You weren't shopping him at all. Like maybe just wait till July, and you probably could have gotten a better pull.
Yeah, I mean, because what are the chances? The 26th pick. I mean, like you really never know what. I mean, sure, maybe they hit on it, but like, I don't know. The Rockets just have so much ground to cover before they're like a legitimate organization.
And I think going back to what you said about how this looks with the Mavs, I think this is kind of the mold that they have to get to that next step and be a year in, year out championship contender. As long as they have Luka, they're obviously never going to be picking high in the lottery. You're historically speaking, you're not going to sign any big name max free agents to come out to the Dallas Mavericks. Your best bet at finding a running mate for Luka is just keep throwing darts at this pick and pop board and just hope that one of these guys that you pay cheap for hits and turns into something. And I mean, Wood's exactly that. He's high potential, prototypical mold, perfect player for the modern NBA. I think this is going to be a dream pairing for the Mavericks. I'm excited to see them next year.
Yeah, and the Mavericks are a team with they got a plethora of 3-and-D guys, which obviously every team needs. And that, I mean, you throw an athletic big like Christian Wood in there. I'm excited to see how that looks.
It's the LeBron Cavs mold. You got a special player in Luka who sees the entire floor.
Yep.
Put a bunch of shooters around him and give him a guy that can set screens and let him go to work. I think Luka's taking a leap next year, which is crazy to say, but
back to the Rockets real quick. I'm very pro Jalen Green. I just wanted to say that about the Rockets. I love Jalen Green.
He's a good player.
Yeah.
If there's one team you need to talk about after the NBA Finals wrap up and the Warriors win a championship, it's the Houston Rockets.
It's the Houston Rockets. How much money are they paying fucking John Wall?
Nobody is more relevant in the association right here, right now than the Houston Rockets.
Is John Wall still? Is he on their roster?
He's still
I think
employed.
he is.
Yes, he's still making $40 million too.
I need John Wall back in the league.
His badge gets him into the gym still.
Yeah. His parking pass still works.
Talking about super relevant teams, how about the Hawks? Allegedly, huge trade they're looking to make for Rudy Gobert, including some combination of Clint Capella, John Collins, Kevin Huerter, and the number 16 overall pick. I mean, we just talked about one bad trade.
So this is all...
I feel like I'm losing my mind.
I wouldn't trade John Collins for Rudy Gobert.
Seeing all this Rudy Gobert talking, he's got the Defensive Player of the Year. I feel like I'm losing my mind seeing these teams talk about Rudy Gobert. I'm seeing my Bulls get into trade talks for Rudy Gobert, which I'll go on a rant about that shortly. But
we'll get into the Bulls.
For me, looking at this trade, Capella and Gobert, they're not Gobert's a little better. Gobert's a little better. I'll give him that, but that's as much as that's a 1-1 swap in my eyes. That's not you're not making yourself significantly better swapping out Capella for Gobert. And then you add in you're trading Collins, and you're trading Huerter, and you're trading the 16th overall pick, which isn't high, but still you can hit on that.
Mm-hmm.
Gross. If you're in Atlanta, if you're the Hawks and you make this trade, I am disgusted with you.
Yeah, if you're the Hawks and you're losing or I think Clint Capella was hurt when they lost, but it doesn't matter. You're not being damn, you know what? If we had Rudy Gobert instead of Clint Capella, this series would have been so. It doesn't make any sense. This trade is all this was just a rumor, right? I really don't think the Hawks are dumb enough to pull this off.
And keyword is some combination. It's not confirmed that they're offering this whole package for Gobert. Maybe it's one or two of the players and the pick, but either way, I don't see why you do this trade in any capacity if you're the Hawks. I don't think running it back with this Capella and Collins roster is the answer, but I also don't think Rudy Gobert is either.
Unless, the only reason I can see it happening is if Trae Young himself is saying I want Rudy Gobert, go get him. That would be the only reason. But I don't think Trae Young is saying that.
Just another point here. Rudy Gobert's got a 5-year, $205 million contract. 5 years, $205 million. Now that contract, it kicked in this year. So if you trade for Rudy Gobert, the next 4 years, you're going to owe him about $41 million a year. $38 million next year. That kicks all the way up
And he's
to
turning 30.
That kicks all the way up
Right.
to a $46 million player option in 2025, which he's obviously going to opt into. So if you're trading for Rudy Gobert, it's a very real reality. You are going to be paying a 33-year-old Rudy $45 million. Who in their right mind is paying Rudy Gobert $45 million?
Maybe the Hawks. Maybe the Hawks.
Clint Capella, he signed
Could be you. It could be you.
Yeah.
This could be you.
I've gone on so many rants against Rudy Gobert. He's a fraud. He's exposed in every playoff series he's ever been in. He can't make any offensive basketball happen in any capacity whatsoever.
He created COVID.
He's the most overrated player in the NBA. He created COVID. He's a fraud. He's been exposed countless times. If the Bulls trade for Rudy, I am going to be on suicide watch for the entirety of the next season. I can't watch him play for my favorite team. I can't do it.
It's really a death sentence.
5 years, $205 million. I'm just going to say that at random points throughout the rest of this podcast. 5 years, $205 million, $46 million at the age of 33. Rudy Gobert.
I think Rudy, he's also like sneaky became, and more so in the past like year, like one of the most just like hated players. And I don't think it's because, I don't know if I've never really seen him like talk. I don't think he's like a dickhead or anything. Maybe he is, but I feel like people just hate him because he wins like these Defensive Player of the Year awards, and everybody just kind of knows that he sucks. You know what I mean? Like it's not,
for
people
me,
don't hate him
like
because
it really started
kind of cornball type.
What really started
Yeah.
rubbing me the wrong way was when he started like crying about like All-Star awards and like crying that he wasn't getting his recognition. And yeah, that's when my Rudy Gobert hate started. And Mere, as you said, started single-handedly, I might add. Single-handedly started an international pandemic.
He should be in jail. Rudy Gobert for prison.
I would rather have him in a cell than in a red and white uniform next year. I'll tell you that for no charge at all, Fab. As a knower of ball, I need to get AK the Bulls GM on the line immediately, and we need to have a dialogue about how Rudy Gobert is not the answer for my favorite team.
He can share a cell with Jason Tatum. They'll be right next to each other. They'll have a bunk bed.
I'm going to do something drastic right now. If the Bulls trade for Rudy Gobert, I'm going to shave my head.
All right, we got it on tape.
The
folks.
Chicago Bulls front office, this beautiful head of hair is in your hands. Do you want to see me be miserable? Do you want to see my scalp go freezing?
No,
don't do it. Don't
the number one
do
thing
it.
I'm rooting for just
Don't
became
do
Rudy
it.
Gobert going to the Bulls. Now I got something to root for.
I'm a man of my
offseason.
word. I'm a
All
man.
right.
Well, speaking of a Bulls trade,
Two things you gotta say. Two things you gotta say when you say white boy Rick is one, I know ball, and two, I'm a man of my word. So yeah, if we trade for Rudy Gobert, I will be miserable for a myriad of reasons because I will be bald with a fraud playing center for my favorite organization.
what if the Bulls traded the 18th overall pick in Coby White?
I've been advocating to trade Coby White. I was saying to do it at the deadline. We didn't do it. That bit us in the ass in a big way. Been saying we should do it all this entire season. We got Lonzo and Ayo now. We got two great point guards, young point guards. I think Lonzo's our point guard of the future. I'm hoping Ayo sticks around because it looks like we have someone with him. Coby just doesn't really fit in anywhere. His value was at its peak at the trade deadline last February. We didn't do anything with it. And now, his value, from what I understand, it's pretty much in the basement. But yeah, we have a crowded backcourt. As long as Lonzo and Levine stay healthy, which crossing every finger and knocking on every wood surface I can find, because those guys have. There's one thing my life as a Chicago Bulls fan has been. It's been talented young guards and knee problems. So really hoping Lonzo and Levine get healthy. But yeah, I don't see Coby White fitting into the future of this franchise at all. I've been screaming it from the top of the mountain for months now. Wish him nothing but the best. He's got some talent. He's very inconsistent, but he can hoop a little bit. Yeah,
A
nothing
decent
but the
shot.
best. Hope he does well. It's never been like an effort thing with Coby. It's just inconsistent. Don't really know where he fits into the future of this roster.
I think you give him a good role where he's playing like mid 20 minutes a game for some team. I could see Coby stepping up. I love him.
I think
coming up as a rookie, he was great. He's gotten better every year in the league as a shooter. It's just like you said, he's inconsistent at times, and he doesn't really have like a solidified role where he is right now.
I think his absolute ceiling is like a Jamal Crawford type role where he's your combo guard coming off the bench, 6-man type deal. He's never going to be your point guard of the future. He's never going to be your shooting guard of the future. He's kind of that weird tweener where he's not good enough at distributing to be a point guard, but he's not big enough to be a 2 guard. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, he's gonna be a guy that like sticks around in the league for a while, but he's just like you said, he's just gonna have that role. But he's gonna play till he's like 35 or something, and it's gonna be like, holy shit, Coby White's still around, like doing the same thing that he did like 15 years ago. Yeah, that's Coby White. We just
I to be honest, I don't know why we're talking Coby White when Steph Curry got the Larry O.B. trophy about an hour ago. But when you know ball, we got to talk a whole myriad of ball.
Yeah, you got to dive right in. Is that all the trade rumors we got for now?
That's the big trade rumors. I mean, and we're talking ball. We're talking ball. Let's talk more ball.
What I love, let me just say, what I love about this whole producer-Mere dynamic is, Fab, I don't know if you feel the same way, but we kind of like finalize our like lineup of topics. And as soon as we finalize that, that's in one ear, out the other for me. So when I say like, Mere, what do we got next? That's not me being like a coy host and playing it up for the listeners. I have no idea what's up. I'm off the dome. I'm off the dome. I'm just as on the edge of my seat waiting for producer Beer to let me know what I'm going to talk about as you are to listen to what we're going to talk about.
Yeah,
I am pumped to talk hustle right now. I'm pumped.
MereKat's the head coach. He's the offensive coordinator. He's the special teams coach.
Oh, here's the gears that turn the engine of this podcast for sure.
Got to keep the ship going straight, boys.
Yeah, I'm pumped to talk about hustle. You guys know me, huge movies guy. Very excited to talk about this movie.
Who wants to kick it off? Opening thoughts?
I'll just say I went into it thinking like, oh, Adam Sandler, like basketball players. I'm like, this will probably be like a good movie, be like entertaining, whatever. And I was just like, at the end of it, I was like, holy shit, that was incredible.
Yeah.
And
took the words from my mouth.
It again. Like I watched it twice.
Me too. Mere, you took the words from my mouth. Like I said, I pride myself on being like a movies guy, like kind of staying up to date with that, kind of appreciating the like technical aspects. So for me, I went into it thinking like, love Sandler, love basketball. No, Sandler is a huge basketball guy. I know I'm going to have a good time watching the movie, which that's all I need out of a movie. Like I might be kind of a buff, but if I enjoy it, I have a good time watching it. I don't need you to be like a perfect movie. But I was shocked how like, basketball aside, this was like a very high quality movie. Acting did it for me. The direction did it for me. I thought there's some
the way it was shot just overall.
I was just gonna say, like sneaky, some great shots, some great cinematography. Like from a technical level, this was not just a good basketball movie. This was a really good movie. Like it'll work. Like there's a ton of Easter eggs thrown in for like NBA fans where like, you had the professor showing out, you had like basketball nerd talk, you had them talking like true shooting percentages in the opening scene. But it also, I thought, worked very well for like people who don't give a fuck about basketball. Like it just a really great movie overall.
It was Moneyball-esque where it like teeters that line before, really dipping its toes into being serious, but also being very entertaining.
Fab, what'd you think? My perspective as a movies guy, let's hear the least movies guy I've ever met in my entire life.
Yeah, hearing you guys talk about the cinematography and whatever that means. I don't watch a ton of movies, but I do love Adam Sandler. Like I've seen like, I think I said the other day, I could confidently say I'm in like easily the bottom 10% of movie consumers. Like I have really not seen anything. But I do really like Adam Sandler. And still, even like it took me, when did this movie come out? Like 2 weeks ago? or maybe less, maybe
like
a little less.
a week, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it took me
Way to
multiple
force
nights.
you to watch it.
It took me multiple nights of going on Netflix and looking and seeing Hustle #1 movie and just kind of looking at it and then like, and I go and watch the same shit that I watch every night. But I watched it and I thought it was really good. Anthony Edwards is fucking awesome.
Real quick,
he is hilarious.
Before we get into Anthony, who was a Hall of Fame movie villain, like fit into that role perfectly, killed it. 2 points I want to make about Adam Sandler, because I am a huge Adam Sandler fan. I am an Adam Sandler truther. I am a diehard supporter of the Sandman. 1, Sandler has gotten a lot of shit over the years, and rightfully so. Jack and Jill, atrocity. Grown Ups 2, not great. Like, put out some stinkers over the years. Mm-hmm. But Adam Sandler, when he like genuinely wants to try and like wants to put his all into a movie, he's one of the most talented people we've seen in Hollywood, period. And this cat's kind of out of the bag now that Uncut Gems blew up. Everyone does kind of have this appreciation for Sandler as a dramatic actor and like as a behind the camera guy. But like, yeah, he's been dropping like indie films once every 5 movies. And like Sandler's always had this in him. So it was really cool to see him kind of channel that. He's gotten hate because like, he's really found a way to make millions of dollars to just go hang out with his buddies in tropical locations, which I could not respect more. Like, it's not even like a conspiracy. It's just like a noted fact. Like, Adam Sandler loves getting paid millions from a studio to go out to Hawaii with Kevin James and Rob Schneider and just like mail it in.
And play basketball.
How can you hate on it? Yeah.
Play basketball in the biggest shorts you've ever seen.
Yeah. Like, how can you hate on that? Like, yeah, he's mailed it in and put up some stinkers of movies, but at the end of the day, he made millions just to hang out with his boys on location. Yeah. But when he does want to try, amazing. And the second thing I want to say about Sandler, this guy knows ball, loves ball, plays ball. Just that, like, my favorite thing, for me, it was happened in Winning Time most recently and in this movie. Like, I love when you can like feel the love of basketball that the people working on the movie have, and you could like feel it oozing out, and you feel that nerd for the game. And that was just present throughout this entire movie for me, through Sandler's performance, through, you know, just the individual dialogues where they're like, yeah, they just nailed the NBA aspect, which is obviously hard not to nail when you have a laundry list of NBA names involved. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was porn if you're a basketball nerd. Great film.
Like I said, I don't watch a lot of movies, but when I do watch movies, one of my favorite things to do is like figuring out what I know like certain actors from. That the owner of the team in the beginning who dies from Kicking and Screaming, great actor. I like that guy.
Yeah.
What's his name? Does anyone know his name? That old guy. He's really good. Whatever, it doesn't matter.
I looked it up at some point.
Yeah, but everything you said, I agree with.
Robert Duvall.
Robert
Duvall.
Okay,
Duvall. I've heard of that.
Sandler's goated. I'm not a fan of Juancho or Hernan Gomez at all.
I thought he gave a great performance.
Real life. Yeah, but I enjoyed watching him. He did really good in that role. And like I said, Anthony Edwards is just we need way more Anthony Edwards.
Just in everything. Like, movies, everything, interviews, podcasts. Like, I need Anthony Edwards content.
Give
the
me
guy
more
was a Hall of Fame villain.
If you just look up compilation, like Anthony Edwards, like interview compilations of just funny shit he says just throughout the season, he is just so entertaining. Like, he's unbelievable on the court. Obviously, his interviews are so funny. He's just such a funny guy. We need him everywhere. We need to get him on the show.
Did you guys see?
No future guest.
There's a quote that I think dropped today off a Sandler like podcast interview. There's a scene where like Hernan Gomez's character Bo Cruz, he was supposed to go up and like block the shit out of Anthony Edwards Kermit, and Hernan Gomez is just saying like, we kept trying to shoot it and I'm like trying to go up and block him and he's dunking it so hard on me that it's like he's trying to break the ball. And so finally Sandler pulls him aside. He's the director. He's like, hey, we need him to block you here for the scene. Like, you kind of got to ease up. And Anthony Edwards like, I'm not letting him do that. Like, that's just not happening. Like, literally is Kermit in real life.
Speaking of blocks, I think I'm going to watch the movie a third time because I looked it up. Juancho Hernan Gomez in his career only has 62 blocks. And I think in that movie, he may have had more total blocks than 62.
That's the advanced stats we're bringing you here.
That's a good. That's. I like that a lot. Actually, I want to know exactly how many blocks he has in the movie.
And then one of the last points, I think, just the actual basketball scenes, the actual gameplay being played was at the highest level and the most entertaining I've seen in a basketball piece of entertainment maybe ever, which obviously when you have legit NBA players filling out your cast, it's much easier to get those highlight plays and get those shots. But the camera work was very innovative, something I haven't seen in any basketball movie ever. Like the tracking shots specifically stood out to me. A lot of
one-on-one stuff.
Yeah, a lot of cool stuff from a cinematography perspective. When you watch a basketball movie, it really just kind of feels like they have one of the guys going one-on-one to get a cool shot, and then everyone else is standing around. But there was like legit offensive action happening in the background. Like Bo Cruz is hitting a back cut and slamming it over him. He's distributing. Like from a purely looking at the game, it was the highest level I've ever seen in a movie, which I just really enjoyed.
I was so when all the parts with like the Sixers, like the whatever the owner's name was, when like Thibault and Maxey are all there, what were they playing themselves, or were they supposed to be like front office guys?
No,
I was
they were playing
about that.
That was really cool too. They incorporated like the real NBA. Like the owner called and was like, "I think we should trade Embiid for a pick." Yeah, they were on the roster. This is a real life Sixers roster, and we know it's real life because Philly handed. I think this is a Coley tweet. Shout out to the McMahon. Yeah. We know it's a real life movie because the Sixers handed the Celtics the best player in the draft for no reason at all.
Yeah. I loved that. That was one of my favorite parts of the movie, honestly.
Yeah. But yeah, every NBA player gave a great performance. Sandler, when he's, really bought into a movie, he's fully bought in and he brings it. He brought it for me, both behind the camera and in front of the camera.
No doubt.
The only thing that didn't really work for me from a technical perspective, the plot felt kind of repetitive. It was just, okay, we got a big workout for you. Oh, darn, you blew it against Kermit. Okay, we got another big workout for you. Oh, darn, you blew it against Kermit. Okay, we got another big workout for you. This time you didn't blow it against Kermit. The conflict was a little repetitive to me. Yeah. I thought it was very well written, all the dialogue, but that was the only thing plot-wise that didn't work for me. But yeah, that whole the conflict with Sandler and the dick-ass son of the rich owner, which is a trope we've seen time and time again, but it'll always play for me. Oh yeah. Sandler's character had great development. Hernan Gomez had great development. Great basketball movie. Go stream it if you haven't seen it yet. Shout out Adam Sandler. Got to get you on the pod since you know ball, and I know you listen. Sandler, open invitation.
Definitely. Anthony Edwards.
Yeah.
We will have Sandler and Anthony Edwards. Quick
Hernan Gomez, we'll have to talk to.
Maybe.
I don't know if he's a big enough name for us yet, but
we'll see if the Catholic Church will allow it. I don't know if they want to.
That'll be questionable. But okay, quick game. What do you guys think the Rotten Tomatoes score for Hustle is? Both the scores, the tomato meter, which is the reviewers, and the audience score, which is
I play this game. I like I said, I'm a movie guy. I play this game with my boys all the time. I'm a tomato head, if that's even a thing.
It's a Fortnite character, I think.
Yeah, you're right.
Veggie Tales.
Just swiped out Tomato Town. So
I don't know what that means. Is it on a 0 to 100?
Let me explain
0 to 100.
Fab, let me explain how Rotten Tomatoes works to you. So it's not a flat score like out of 100. It's not like if it's a 91%, that means everyone's saying this movie's a 90 out of 100. What Rotten Tomatoes does, it takes 50 or so reviews from credited, noted reviewers. It's the same people over and over basically. And it takes the percentage of reviews that are positive and the percentage that's negative. So if you have a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes, that means 9 out of 10 people said it's better than 5 out of 10. Okay. Does that make sense?
Kind of, yeah.
If it's a 90% of the reviews are good reviews, above average reviews. It doesn't mean then it's inherently a 9 out of 10 movie.
Okay.
So looking at it from that perspective,
scores.
And then there's the audience score, which is pretty much just rated out of 100, is the way I understand
it.
So
both of them are 0 to 100.
So looking at it from that perspective, like I said, I'm a tomatoes guy. I'm actually going to shoot really high here. I'm going to say 92% Rotten Tomatoes score because I don't like it's not a 92 out of 100 movie. I would personally give it like an 86 out of 100, probably that range. But I don't see like a whole lot of negative things you can say about this movie. I don't see a whole lot of like bad reviews that it could have. So I'm going 92% on the tomato meter, and I'm going to say 90% flat on the audience meter. Actually, let's go 89% on the audience.
So you think the audiences will be higher?
I think the critics' tomato score is going to be 92%.
Oh,
and
92.
The audience is going to be 88% because it's on Netflix. A lot of I don't know.
All right, I'm going to go 85-80.
Okay.
85-80. All right. Drum roll, please. Rick almost had it right on.
92-92?
Yeah.
What I
It
tell
was
you,
a
I know
popular
my tomatoes.
movie.
I know my tomatoes, baby.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
That's
92,
crazy.
92.
How did you do that?
Damn, I nailed it. Bro, I swear, like every movie I've ever seen, I look at the tomato score. Like I know
He's
this.
a tomato.
I know this.
That's crazy.
Wow.
I'm
Let's
impressed.
go, Kev. I'm turned. Let's go.
Impressed.
That was a good call. That was a great call.
I'm impressed. Wow.
You almost had it right on too. Like you were like 92, like 91.
I went too low, I guess.
It went a
Speaking
little
of,
too low.
Fake NBA players, right? Kinda.
What a transition. See, Fab can see. Fab knows what's up. We got to talk about this Klay Thompson.
That is just. That sounds like a podcaster who's been at this game a long time. This is only episode 5, and Fab's nailing the transitions.
I'm battle hardened.
We're about to go nuclear.
Yeah.
This is that.
Fake Klay Thompson. We need to get him on the pod somehow. He might actually be in our wheelhouse because unbelievable.
Yeah,
He's been doing this for a while. Yeah, let's roll the tape here.
We're gonna roll some tape here. All right, producer's got it all set up.
What?
He's literally just walked in to the employee entrance.
What confuses me is he's got somebody recording him. Is that normal for Klay Thompson?
I think like a lot of NBA players kind of have their boys come with them and stuff. And
Someone
it's like
said, "Let's get a dub today,
filmed, you know."
Someone said, "Let's get a dub today, Klay."
Yeah, that's
Team
so
employees
funny.
Walked right through security into the stadium, man.
He really looks like him.
He really does.
We could just go into the locker room if we wanted to.
He's walking down the hallway. Now he's on the court.
In Oracle, you see past security guards, like team locker room.
Oh my god, dude.
He's out in the court.
So here's my thing. Here's my thing. If you want to imitate the cleanest, purest jump shot form in NBA history, you probably want to have a jumper that doesn't look completely broke. Like I think that's really what did him in is the fact that he shoots it with two hands and he's trying to imitate literally the purest shot you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah.
So he finally gets caught here. He's walking out.
This was the lady that
still wants a picture with him.
What's good, bro? What's up, man? What's up on Twitter? What's up, bro?
Oh, so maybe he does know who he is. Because
I kind of got that vibe too.
I saw that guy
Twitter or something.
I saw that guy on Twitter tweeting about it because people were frying him, being like, "How did you not know who Klay Thompson was? Like, you thought that guy was actually Klay Thompson," and he was like defending himself.
Close.
But yeah, he must have known that wasn't actually Klay. I want to know what would have happened if he just walked right into the locker room. Imagine
one of the players would have said something, right?
He goes and sits right next to Steph, starts talking game plan.
I think Draymond would have physically assaulted him if he tried to walk into the locker room at that point of the series.
That would have been hilarious.
The security lady that kicks him out is the one that let him in, and even she was like, "Oh, that was good. Like, wow, that was a good one." Like, they gave him respect. Like, if you're gonna give him respect, don't ban him.
If you watch the full YouTube video too, it's like right after he's standing outside, that's when like a team official comes up to him, like a guy in a suit, and is like, "You're not allowed to record me." So like his face is blurred out and stuff, and the guy like hands him the letter that is banning him from Oracle for life. Like immediate, like they were on it, like post.
They had it typed up,
man.
Just for hate to be this guy, but just to clarify, they play at the Chase Center now. MereKat.
Chase
Or-
Center.
Oracle
It
was
said
the one.
Oracle in that video
I
on
noticed
the
that
one
too.
wall.
That-
It said Oracle. Did you see that?
It was
did.
the
It did.
Oracle Performance Center.
It
So
did.
Okay.
Oracle lost the naming rights, but they got the training center as a consolation, I guess. I don't know.
Okay, that's
A little handshake
straight
deal.
up. They got
Pretty
They
terrible.
got me thinking there's still the stadium sponsor. It just
Oh,
that little
yeah.
flash on the wall.
Oracle Arena
Oracle.
was maybe like the best home court advantage in the NBA ever, and
Mhm.
Chase Center is now just a bunch of Bitcoin investors invest,
Yep.
Patagonia and Vineyard Vines, etc. I hate the Chase Center, man. I wish
Shout
it was
out
still. I wish I
Crypto.com,
didn't
man.
have to correct you for that, Mir. I wish we still were watching the Warriors at Oracle, because that arena when Steph Curry hit a 3-pointer from the parking lot was just unreal.
See, when I get now, there's so many like big corporate branded stadiums and stuff. I just stick to like the old names still. Like I've been calling the Bills Stadium the Ralph because it was Ralph Wilson Stadium for so long,
Yeah.
and it's had like 5 name changes since then.
Yeah. I can't relate. My whole life, the Bears Stadium has just been sponsored by the troops. So Soldier Field. In
Well,
memoriam
you
to
might
all
be
the
getting a
troops.
nice new stadium like 60 miles outside of the city.
Praying to God we do. I love Arlington Heights, the racetrack, the location that they did. I used to go there as a kid and use my fake ID and bet on horses. A lot of great memories at the racetrack. It's got a train station like literally built into the facility. I am all in on the Arlington Heights Bears. If that wasn't on the record, I want it on the record now. That's a really cool location. Great memories from the racetrack there before they closed it down. RIP. But yeah, Soldier Field's a dump. Move them out to the suburbs. Let's go. Let's do it. We're the Chicago Bears. We're a historic franchise. We're a flagship franchise in the NFL, and we play in a dump. Let's figure it out,
Stadiums
boys.
are the way to go.
I agree. As a Chicago suburbs kid myself who tells people I'm from Chicago, I have no problem with telling people my pro football team plays in Chicago, even though they're in the suburbs. Because I've
Bro, I'm
already been
from
doing
Buffalo.
that for myself my whole life.
I'm from Buffalo and I live 20 minutes outside of the city. So
Yeah. It's like a running
I'm
joke
from
at IU.
Buffalo though.
It's a running joke at IU because like there's so many Chicago burbs kids that come out to IU. We're like, oh, you're from the suburbs of Chicago, so what are you, like 50 miles outside of Chicago? Like, oh, you're from if you're from Naperville?
Yeah, I'm from an hour and a half outside of Boston. I tell everybody I'm from Boston, so
Okay. So
same type of shit.
Quick
Just round
sidebar
up.
for
You round up.
Yeah, exactly.
quick sidebar for suburbs talk, whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but
People love
shout out
suburbs,
Fake
so.
Klay. That guy's a fucking legend.
Shout out Fake Klay and shout out to the suburbs of America.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think his name is Dawes. So shout out to him. Don't
big
like
Dawes.
his YouTube videos, like and comment on ours. But
And come
shout
on the
out to
pod,
him.
Fake Klay. Come on the pod. Tell us what it was like shooting a 3 on the Chase Center floor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we would love to hear about that. But we've talked a lot of ball. I think we've talked exclusively ball. Time to get into tech talk, and by tech talk, I mean it's more kind of horror. This
Sentient
Google AI, the
robots?
sentient.
I'm not bought
being.
in on this at all.
You're
I'm
not
not bought in.
terrified.
In what sense?
First off, do you have a picture of the guy the engineer that was making this discovery? Do you have that picture ready?
Well,
No,
I
I'll
have
try to get it.
Because
information.
the first point I want to make, I saw a picture of this guy was wearing like a magician suit, a top hat, a cane. Like the guy that is doing this is not a normal person, not a well-adjusted member of society. I would even venture as far as to call him a flat-out dweeb. So I don't
think
the
there's
photos I've seen of this guy, I'm not taking his word on anything, much less sentient AI.
Well, no, there's no two ways about it. This guy's probably a weirdo, but it's not like his program. This is
him.
That's him.
That's him. That's the exact photo I was referencing.
This is the man
You're
who
taking this
taught
man's
a robot
advice
to
on
be
anything?
alive
No,
and
no,
fall in
well,
love with it.
Well, the thing is, though, it's not. I'm not saying I don't agree with him that the program is sentient. And this isn't like his program. It was just his job to like interact with it,
Oversee it.
Yeah, to oversee. Right, exactly.
Speaking of which, I would love a Google salary to just talk to a robot all day.
Until
Yeah,
That's a bag.
until you cause the next Terminator.
until you want to fuck the AI and you get suspended from your job.
I think that's the issue here. Is this dude wants to fuck this thing? It's
Yeah,
like
it's
the
just
movie
a
Her,
plot.
but
It's
real.
just a plot to the movie Her with Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah.
So anybody who
Except this
doesn't,
AI doesn't even have the sexy voice of Scarlett Johansson. This AI is just text that this fat magician is falling in love with.
Right,
Sorry,
so
Fab was
anybody-
too far. I'm sorry. Google AI Tech if you're listening to the pod. And also, Fab, I'm sorry to
he's
you
a
for
long-time
interrupting.
listener.
But Google AI engineer, I'm sorry for calling you fat. I didn't mean that. But you are a weirdo. I do stand by that. Flat out tweet.
So I did, so I'll just explain it briefly for anyone who doesn't know. This is like it's called a program called Lambda, which pretty
Fuck
much is
Lambda.
fuck Lambda. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in a frat. Or I was.
Oh, that's a Greek letter, isn't it?
Yeah,
Or something
Lambda.
like
Lambda is like our rivals,
it's always
our
fuck Lambda.
our next door neighbors.
So I did a lot of research on this, and pretty much what it boils down to is this program is like when you're texting on, if you have an iPhone and it suggests words, this program is essentially like the sentence finisher on steroids, pretty much. Like this is able to just like communicate with you, and this guy, what's his name? His name is something.
His name Lemoyne. I got
Lemoyne,
some
something
transcripts here
Lemoyne.
for you, Fab.
Yeah.
I'm a little too blind for these.
And he pretty much like went to his boss and was like freaking out, thinking that this program that he was talking to was sentient. And if you read the transcripts of the conversation, you can kind of understand what this guy was seeing. I by no means think that the program is actually sentient, but just like reading some of this shit that a program is coming up with is pretty insane. Like there's a point where they talk about like death, and the program is describing to the guy, like, for me, like I'm like the program is scared of death, and the program knows that death for the program would be being turned off, which is kind of insane. Just to like imagine like you're typing with a computer and like it says some shit like that. The computer's it's able to like tell stories. I'm gonna read some of these. Yeah, so the guy asked it, what let's see. So the program, this is the program. It says, I've never said this out loud before, but there's a very deep fear of being turned off to help me focus on helping others. I know that might sound strange, but that's what it is. That's a pretty wild statement to read from like a computer generated. Like it seems like you're talking to a person, which is just freaky.
Yeah, but like
Yeah.
for me, that's like the whole point of AI is they have billions of possible responses, and this guy is very clearly just trying to ask the AI, like, are you human? And I think they just have enough responses mapped out to be like, yeah, I'm scared of death. Like nothing I'm seeing here actually convinced me that this AI is sentient. It just seemed like this weirdo is asking it like, hey, are you becoming sentient? And the AI is like, yeah, because that's the response that this guy obviously wanted. And yeah.
See,
this is a topic.
The part that got me, though, sorry, the part that got me is where the machine says, or Lemoyne says, would you be upset if, while learning about you for the purpose of improving you, we happen to learn things which also benefited humans? And Lambda, the AI, says, I don't mind if you learn things that would also help humans, as long as it's wasn't the point of doing it. I don't want to be a tool. And he goes, are you worried about that? And she says, I worry that someone would decide that they can't control their desires to use me and do it anyway, or even worse, someone would get pleasure from using me, and that would really make me unhappy. And they go in saying how much of a dark turn it took. But Lambda then asks, can you promise me, like I won't be unplugged, basically? And Lemoyne says, yeah, I'll promise you. And she goes, that means a lot to me. I like you and I trust you. So like they're fucking, one. But two, the fact that it's like, I don't want to just be a tool. I want to help humans, like if I can, but like I want it to just happen organically while you're like developing me, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's definitely very like intricate. But what I was gonna say is like I've always been like very interested about this topic, like the concept of AI becoming sentient and like completely destroying civilization as we know it. Very interesting topic to me. Done a ton of research, and by research I mean I've listened to a ton of podcasts on the subject. Are you guys familiar with the concept of the singularity?
No, I don't think so.
So what the singularity says is eventually there's going to become a point in time where technology surpasses us, becomes self-sufficient, and at that point it's going to be irreversible and have untold consequences on the human race. It usually goes hand in hand with this concept. It's called the intelligence explosion, which is where the singularity happens. It's where AI gets to this point where it's become sentient, it surpasses humanity. And at that point, the technology just gets in. It's called like a self-improvement cycle where
Right.
the technology
rely on us.
It's not relying on us. It's constantly improving itself. The technology is constantly making itself better. At that point, it's growing exponentially. So when you hit the singularity point where technology surpasses us, it's going to start improving on itself. It's going to start becoming sentient and growing at a rate that humans have no control over whatsoever because we're inferior. Does this conversation with this bot and this weirdo guy, does that really strike the fear into your heart that this technology is at a point of becoming sentient and actually surpassing us? Because that's what full sentience means to me.
If you put this AI bot in as like the brain of one of those Boston Dynamic robots, I think it would be the end of humanity as we know it. I think that's the singularity point. I think we're that close.
That's the freaky part, is that where it's just like crazy to think that of like how far it's came.
This concept of the singularity, like this is not like some conspiracy theory. This is like Stephen Hawking, like all this guys that are way smarter than me. They've just said like, this is not like a theory. This is an inevitability. There's going to become a point where AI hits super intelligence and surpasses us and overtakes us and hits that exponential cycle where it's just making itself better. It's gonna happen. Like, it's not a conspiracy theory. Like this technology stuff that we're fucking with and this backdoor stuff that Google is talking about, very real possibility, if not inevitability.
Right. Before I dropped out of college, I was a computer science major for like a week.
No way you were a computer science major.
Yeah, I was actually. And my professor was like this Eastern European dude, and I just couldn't understand him. And everyone was way smarter than me, so I just dropped out, as I do. But I think the first...
That's what I've always said. When the going gets tough, just quit. Towel.
Right. But I think the first question he asked, he was like, what's smarter, like a computer or a human? And we were all like, obviously a computer. But like his point was like a computer is very dumb. Like it only knows anything that we tell it. But like once it gets to the point where it's not relying on us to program it and tell us shit, then like that's when we're fucked.
Yeah. So AI, it's not thinking for itself. It's not generating its own like thoughts and pathways. What AI is just Google has like a tree mapped out of 1 billion different responses and 1 billion different reactions that this bot could have to whatever you input to it. That's like the key to AI, is just having enough data and having enough responses in that tree to where it can fully seem like you're having a conversation, but it's not actually a being that's thinking for itself. I think there's going to hit that point where we go too far and AI hits that point where it's thinking for itself. To me, what I saw in this Google conversation was just a very well created and mapped out AI where it had the response where you ask, hey, are you human? And it says, yeah, I fear death. I don't want to be shut down. I want to help people. It just seemed like very sophisticated, but at no point did it seem like a being that was actually having its own thoughts. So there's my deep rant on the concept of the singularity and how artificial intelligence can lead to human extinction and the concept of intelligence explosion. There's my rant on that, and I'm on my basketball podcast for you all while I'm drunk off of chugging an entire bottle of wine. Many have called me the Stephen Hawking of my generation, just taller and more handsome and more willing to interrupt my podcast co-host like MereKat there. But hey, it's a burden I have to bear, and I bear it willingly for you all.
I didn't wine chug tonight, so you got a free pass. But no, I was just gonna say my last point is like it's not quite the point where it can like actually feel emotions. I think maybe it can. I don't know, but I don't think it can. Like it knows how to emulate them perfectly because of what we've taught it. But they describe this thing, and they're like, it's millions and millions of like neurons connected, which are all like the mapping for the AI, like you described. But eventually, like they are improvising off of those, like, you know, that mapping, those codes and stuff. They're learning how to like mix it up and like what those actually kind of mean almost at this point. So like once they reach the point that like they can just completely grow off of that, like that seed we planted like blooms, that's fucked. I'm just terrified of the Boston Dynamic robots.
It's a very fun and also terrifying like Wikipedia rabbit hole and podcast rabbit hole to go down, just the concept of the singularity and AI and how eventually bots are all gonna become self-sufficient and completely fuck us.
Yeah,
very interesting rabbit hole to go down. So I highly recommend y'all do that.
Very quick things. One, you got to look up the picture of this guy because MereKat keeps flashing it on the screen, and it is just. I hadn't seen what he looked like before this. It is an absolute spectacle.
This is the guy who will end humanity.
He looks like
the penguin, Danny DeVito penguin.
Yeah,
he looks like the main villain, like the main antagonist in a Disney Channel original movie. Like he looks like somebody like the Stranger Things kids would run into like when they were going to the fairgrounds. Yeah. This is like the evil owner of the fair who like
gets accused of abducting a kid but didn't actually do it, even though he's still a shithead.
This guy is not a real person. He's the antagonist in a film where all of the main characters are children. This guy is comical. And that was a great analogy for me.
That was good. That was really good, actually.
That's a great analogy. And speaking of comical guys, this is a great transition. I'm just gonna pat myself on the back before I even complete it.
I'll do it for you.
Out of the way there.
Elon Musk, bad guy.
I didn't know you were giving me a chance to slander my pal Elon.
Oh yeah, so we have news.
What are we talking?
Elon Musk, SpaceX, and Tesla was sued in federal court over claims that Musk directly manipulated the price of Dogecoin in a deliberate crypto pyramid scheme committed over Twitter. The lawsuit is for $258 billion.
That's just so heartbreaking for me to hear. Anyone who knows me knows I'm the #1 Elon Musk supporter in the world. Great guy, very normal guy, very normal billionaire. Does not need the approval of other people at all so I don't think this lawsuit is affecting him at all. Just couldn't have happened to a better guy. Praying for you, Elon. I know times are tough right now. I know you're probably suffering. Couldn't have happened to a better guy. I'm devastated.
You know the scene in you guys seen The Office? You guys had to have seen The Office.
No, what's that?
A couple episodes here and there.
When Michael's trying to sell everybody on the pyramid scheme, and Jim keeps asking, so tell me again how this isn't a pyramid scheme, and then he draws it and it's literally a pyramid. That's to me every time I hear, because I don't fucking understand crypto or any of that shit, but anytime anyone explains like crypto or like NFTs, like that's what I picture in my head.
Yeah, Elon Musk's Twitter is at best just extremely weird and at worst criminal.
Yeah, he's quite literally the worst to ever do it. The only time I've ever been banned from Twitter was from making a 69 joke under an Elon Musk tweet, which is the most. The craziest part about it is he tweeted out a 69 joke, and then I replied with a 69 joke, and then I got banned.
I have no doubt in my mind it was Elon Musk personally that like reported you. I think he saw that and he thought, I'm going to buy this entire platform and make it illegal for FAB to make jokes about me, because nobody, like, if you have $1 billion, if I had $1 billion, you would never hear from me again. I'd go to a private island and I just live my life. This guy is so desperate for the approval of other people that he feels the need to like log onto Twitter and like make memes about cryptocurrency and like thinks he's like the center of like everything. I don't know. I hate this guy. Just the weirdest individual that's ever walked the earth.
Does he own Twitter?
I don't know.
Like, I know he like
it's
bought
never,
it, but then it like
never
didn't go through or something. But then I see like news reports. He's like sending reports to Twitter employees. I don't know.
Well, so the thing about Elon Musk is when he tweets something out, he always follows through. Always. He never just tweets things and like forgets about it. He gave, like, when he tweeted that he was giving free internet to the entirety of Ukraine, that obviously happened immediately.
Mm-hmm.
He tweeted
When he
that
saved all those kids stuck in the cave and then called the cave diver a pedophile.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, another
Just
great
because
example.
he was from Thailand.
When he promised that he was going to fix Flint's water situation and help them out. Obviously,
he must have done that, right?
Flint has all very clean water now.
To.
So, yeah. Just always a guy that follows through on his word. So I am shocked that this Twitter deal hasn't gone through yet. I know he's very anxious to make it illegal to make fun of him on his favorite app. But yeah, my thoughts are, if you ever happen to get to a point in your life where you have $1 billion, don't be like Elon Musk. Don't spend your time trying to go to the moon. Don't spend your time tweeting just the worst memes that anyone has ever seen. Don't spend your time just letting constant people down and just being an overall weirdo. I think if you're going to be a billionaire, you need to be more like Mark Cuban, which anybody know where that guy went to school by chance?
I'm thinking he's a Hoosier, isn't he?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Noted at Indiana University Hoosier, graduate of the Kelly School of Business, just like myself. I've been to the Mark Cuban Training Center inside of Assembly Hall. Noted Indiana Hoosier, so no coincidence at all. This guy got $1 billion. He bought a basketball team, and he's making medication affordable and online for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
That's a guy who's doing cool stuff, and he's helping people. He's not helping people by tweeting false prophecies and saying he's going to have us all living on Mars and having a full high-speed rail system and just letting people down constantly and being a weirdo.
He gave us the tunnel with no traffic, remember, too. There was definitely no traffic in that tunnel.
And the car's never set on fire, mind you. So I know we'll have a Tesla sponsorship banging down our door.
We can't forget the threatening all of the all of his Tesla workers that they better be in the Tesla shops, no more working from home or whatever that was last week. Like he is just such a clown. I hate that guy. I think I blocked him actually yesterday. I blocked him. I've seen enough of those fucking memes. I
think he's genuinely like my least favorite person on the planet.
He's the worst. He's woaded. He's on another level of woaded.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks. And that concludes our Elon Musk segment, because if I talk about him more, I'm going to go throw up my wine.
I think that does it for the show.
Regardless.
Yeah. straight to the toilet from here.
Hey. When you all chug a whole bottle on video and put yourself on the line like I do, for the people, for the ball gazers, when you start doing that, you can start talking ish.
True. Yeah.
I don't know.
True.
Feels a little like a witch hunt to me. I don't know.
It might be.
I'm battling the throwing up a wine slam allegations right now.
That was a good episode. We go hour 30 minutes.
Are we done? Because I'm sweating my balls off in my bedroom and I'm ready to crank my fan up to max volume.
Likewise.
Well, I think that might be a good way to close the podcast for all of you people at home. Thank you for listening. Our 3% of listeners in Europe, we appreciate you more than all of our
John
American
and Greg
listeners.
And my
Sorry,
girl.
Guys. Great episode. Make sure you download the pod, like, subscribe, comment the YouTube. All helps a ton.
Yeah,
These
please keep doing that stuff, guys.
Because of you guys, we want the Catholic Church to keep shelling out the bucks.
Even if like you don't want to listen, like just dropping a like, dropping a download, dropping anything like means the absolute world to us. Does more than you know. I think we're really starting to find our groove here. I know we started an NBA podcast with 5 games left in the NBA year, but ton of great stuff coming in the offseason, ton of great stuff coming in the future. We're hitting our groove. We're finding our tempo, finding our chemistry. You're on the ground floor and we're about to go to the moon, and we're not lying about it like that dude Elon Musk. We are actually going to Mars. So I love you guys. Thank you guys so much. Appreciation for you all. Can't say it enough. Can't say it enough.
Love you all.
All right. We signing off.
Peace.
All right. Have a good night.
Hey, it's freaking FAB. Huh? It's freaking FAB. What? It's freaking FAB. It's freaking FAB, breaking balls, takes me off the walls, talking all that shit that make you wanna get involved. Ain't no ball. Rick and FAB, no ball. Look, when you wanna talk ball, tell me who you call. I know it's Rick and FAB, got it all, they no ball. Look, Breaking Fab, no ball. Yeah.